I am level 100 on Jason, and today I'll be sharing with you the best tips and tricks to help you play Jason like a pro. First, I'll explain his abilities as simply as I can. Jason has a passive called Mute, and Mute essentially makes it so the terror radius is smaller than that of other killers. That basically means the little music you hear when killers are near you, Jason's radius of that music is much smaller compared to the other killers. For Jason, this might seem like stupid, but it's actually good because it allows you to sneak up on players much easier than other killers can. He obviously has his M1, which does 20 damage and inflicts bleed in 1 for 5 seconds. But if you use your M1 while you're enraged, Jason lunges forward and does 25 damage. The next ability Jason has is Behead, which is a horizontal swing towards the head. If done while sprinting, it causes a small lunge, deals 20 damage, and inflicts helpless 1 for 14 seconds. But if it's done while enraged, it deals 35 damage. If you activate this ability while not sprinting, you will not lunge. However, whether you hit the ability or not, after the slash, Jason gets slowness 1 for 2 seconds. The other ability is Gash and Wound. This is a stationary ability. If you hit a survivor, you land a series of slashes, which adds up to 50 damage or 70 if you're enraged. After the slashes are done, you ragdoll the survivor away from you, and you're left frozen for a few moments, which gives the survivor time to run away before you can move again. However, you can usually catch up due to your speed. And then the final ability is Rage and Pace. When you activate it, you become enraged, and your movement speed becomes 19.5 for 14 seconds. To put that into perspective, your normal walking speed is 9 and your sprinting speed is 28. So while you're definitely faster than walking, you're still significantly slower than sprinting. That means you won't be catching up to survivors who have stamina, but you're also not completely immobile. It's more of a mid-speed pressure tool. Upon activation, the aura of the nearest survivor is revealed to you, giving you immediate tracking info, and you enter the enraged state. While enraged, your stamina becomes capped at 70 over 6.5 seconds, which limits your regen and chase potential if mistimed or wasted. However, in exchange, you become immune to stuns. The enraged state won't end by itself. It ends once you use any other ability. Now we'll get into each ability individually and explain how to use them effectively. So first, I just want to talk about his M1 quickly and highlight that his slash is nearly instant and has the fastest windup in the game besides Cool Kid. His hitbox range is also really impressive. It allows you to adjust to players who juke you mid-swing. While in Rage and Pace, there is a variant of his M1, but honestly, there are so many better options available that I don't really recommend using the enraged M1. But you can use it if none of your other abilities are up. So the first, and personally my favorite ability we'll cover in this section, is Behead. Jason is a close quarters killer, which means you have to get really good at stamina management and chasing to be truly effective. Luckily, Jason's arsenal helps you do exactly that. Behead inflicts helpless 1 for 14 seconds. So if you use it as a chase starter, whoever you hit is now completely vulnerable to you for those 14 seconds. For example, an Elliot who has rush hour won't be able to get away that easily because he can't even activate his ability. Or if it's a sentinel, you can play much more aggressively since you know their stun is locked for that duration. Now, usually you want to use Behead while sprinting because it lunges forward, increasing your effective range. While enraged, your lunge distance and damage is even greater. Regardless of whether you hit a survivor or not, you will be slowed for a brief moment after using it. So don't try to sprint during the slowness, you'll just waste stamina. It's better to wait out the slowness, then sprint afterward to manage your stamina more efficiently. And the really useful tip for Behead is that if a survivor is one shot and you hit them with Behead, it skips the kill animation, allowing you to quickly switch to another survivor. This is great if you're in a situation where you can aggro onto someone else quickly and have enough stamina to do so. Next is Gash and Wound. This ability is best used when you're confident you can hit a survivor, like if they missed a stun, are doing a generator, or are trapped in a corner. The ability completely stops your momentum, so if you miss, it's very punishable, but if you land it, that's a huge win. This ability has the largest hitbox in your kit, and while it's active, anyone who walks into it gets damaged. For whatever reason, guest mains love doing this. So you can actually hit multiple survivors if they're grouped up together. This is especially effective on Guess 1337. If you can bait their block, then follow up with Gash and Wound, it's huge. Now, after this ability is over, the survivor is ragdolled away from you, giving them a head start, but you can catch up with your speed. You have to be cautious if you use this near Builderman's turret or dispenser or Tav's mine, since the ability might trigger on the object instead of the survivor. Like with other abilities, if you use this while enraged, it increases the damage from 50 to 70. The last ability for Jason is Rage and Pace. With this ability, you get variations of every single ability. Your walk speed becomes faster than normal walking, but slower than sprinting. For that reason, I think the best way to use Rage and Pace is to pressure survivors when they're low on stamina. So if you're in a chase and closing the distance and the survivor is low on stamina, you can activate Rage and Pace to regain your own stamina and maintain pressure while they're stuck with very little. Another way to use Rage and Pace effectively is to treat it like a parry against sentinels. Since you're immune to stuns while enraged, you can predict a stun. Activate Rage and Pace as a counter, and if they fail their stun, they're now completely vulnerable and open for a massive punish. Ideally, you want to follow up with Gash and Wound to deal 70 damage. If that's not available, then go for Behead. And if nothing else is up, you can use Slash as a last resort. Cooldowns are also reduced while in Rage and Pace, so you can take advantage of this to get your abilities back faster just by being in that state. And less importantly, if you really need to locate survivors, you can use Rage and Pace to reveal the aura of the nearest one, but generally, you want to use it for pressure, punish and stuns, and managing stamina. I want to end this section by giving you guys a general gameplay overview. Jason doesn't have any long range abilities or slowing tools, so he heavily relies on chase IQ and stamina management. One of the first things you should be aware of is that characters like 7 and 7 and 2-time should be targeted before their last man standing. If they're left for last, they can be across the map and you'll waste a ton of time trying to regain distance on them. These type of characters can really frustrate you and reveal the weaker side of Jason, so definitely get used to that, not just with them but in general. You'll often find yourself chasing one person longer than you would with other killers. You're also more prone to stuns since you need to stay close to apply pressure. You can counter this with Rage and Pace or just dodge easier stuns from players like Shed or Chance by simply moving to the side. But where Jason shines is when you close the distance. The moment a survivor makes a mistake or opens themselves up, you can unleash an insane amount of damage and completely turn the chase in your favor. If you made it this far into the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Only 0.2% of my viewers are actually subscribed to the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.